Well, it's bright with the light. I'm gonna wait till at least a few people are in on this live stream here. Oh, a few people. I thought a few people said they were gonna try making the live stream this morning. So give it to the minute mark, and then if nobody's on, I'll just go ahead and start. There we got somebody on. Okay, so Brendolyn Lindsay, how you doing this morning? Or Brandolyn? I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Sorry. All right, cool. So, anyways, so I got some exciting news, and then I got some like not so exciting news. So, and it all has to do with Patreon. So Patreon and like the whole Hissy Fit Reptile. Perfect. Thanks, Brandolyn. So I wanted to do the. I was in a whole big thing typed up, and then I ended up deleting it because I just didn't want to like. I didn't want to put it on there and then like have like people freak out about what I wrote and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So I'm gonna start with the good stuff first, like the positive thing here. So, I'm in negotiations with a person. Hold on, my wife is calling. So hold on 1 second. Hello. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. Yep. Sorry. Okay. All right. I will. Yeah. Bye. Mostly all day. Yeah. The whole time they're there, probably raining out. All right. Bye. Sorry about that. So my wife's at work and the kids are upstairs. I thought the kids weren't going to be here this morning, but they are. So after I'm done with this whole thing, I had to take them over to my in-laws' house. So, anyways, back on track. If I wouldn't have answered, she would just kept calling and calling and like, what the heck's going on here? So, oh my God, she's calling again. What the heck here? Hello? All right, the whole thing? Okay. 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 Bye. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so that was like a boring 4 minutes of everybody's time here. Sorry about that. So, yeah, Gwen getting back in now. Hopefully, she doesn't call back and interrupt again. But, anyways, so I've been in negotiations with a guy, and what we're working on doing is uh, some monthly content that's going to be coming out. It would actually be on my YouTube. It's not going to be a Patreon exclusive, just because we want as many people to hear it as possible. But what it is, it's going to be a podcast. So the person I'm working with this on, or working with on this whole thing, is somebody who actually was doing podcasts at one point in time, and then he stopped. And this is from a few years ago. So some of you might be able to guess it. However, I promised him I wouldn't say anything about what exactly it is, what show it is, and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be exclusively on Hissy Fit Reptiles YouTube channel. So um, basically, he's going to be doing all these big interviews, like interviewing, all the big breeders, mid-range breeders, doing interviews and stuff at shows. All that stuff's going to be on like a podcast type format. Now, the podcast type format, he has all the equipment and everything. He does like promos and stuff like that, and all this really cool stuff. So, with that being said, um, I'll be having to pay him. Obviously, he's going to be kind of working for me doing this whole thing. So, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll probably pay you with whatever money I bring in from the Patreon thing and stuff. Um, and that kind of brings me to the not so good thing. It's like, all right, just in May alone, I lost like 5 or 6 people, or more, supporters dropped out, and then like dropped like $21 less than what I was making the previous month. And every month there's actually been a downward slide of stuff. So I'm I know I had like the big thing going on and stuff when I had a whole bunch of issues, and a lot of people like jumped on, and then they were only planning on doing it for like a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, and then they got off. But obviously I'm not doing something right, because I mean, people keep leaving, so I don't know. Don't Obviously, like, the contest thing was kind of like a bummer, because now everybody has to actually do something in order to have a chance to win, as compared to just commenting on a video and then being able to pick like a random, pick it at random, pick a person at random, so everybody has like a fair chance, as long as you do a comment. Now you actually have to go do something, and I've been having people do certain things and stuff over the past few months. On the other spectrum of that whole thing is I'm actually losing a ton of money with this whole Patreon thing, because the snakes that I'm giving away valued over way more than what I'm bringing in on Patreon. Even though I haven't been doing a snake giveaway every single month, like, even though I started the Hissy Fit Madness thing in April, it didn't finish until May, so I didn't actually give a snake away in April. I gave a snake away in like March or February or whatever it was. I think there's been 3 snakes given away so far in 2019, and they add up to more than what I've brought in through Patreon. Well, that's fine. I don't really care too much about that. I'm just trying to like it somewhat offsets it. But now that I'll be having to pay this guy money every month, if I don't have enough money coming through Patreon, I basically have to, unless I'm selling snakes, that also be kind of the same thing. Like, that it makes up for it. But if I don't have funds coming in from selling snakes that month, and the Patreon thing's not there, basically I'm paying him money from my job. Like, I work a job to take care of my family's bills and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to keeping the snake stuff separate, and the Patreon thing separate and stuff. So I just need to figure out what I'm doing that I'm losing people here. I mean, my content's not the most exciting right now. Stuff like this with my wife calling, and I mean, like, she has me doing a ton of different things around the house and other stuff too, and stuff that I know I need to get done around the house. We got kids and stuff like that too. So, I mean, it is kind of frustrating on my end, knowing that I want to get stuff done. I want to be able to give you guys better content and all that kind of stuff, but I don't have the time to do it, which is why the Patreon thing's supposed to come in. The more I've gotten in a ton of arguments, and divorce has been mentioned multiple times for my wife because of this whole reptile stuff. And, if I'm basically giving snakes away for, giving more value in snakes away than what I'm bringing in and stuff like that for the ones I am selling, it's hard to justify to her like, hey, yeah, this is awesome. I'm gonna do these videos and do these live streams and do this and that for Patreon when she knows I'm losing money on it. And it's like, okay, not only am I losing money on it, but I'm also taking time away from her and the kids and everything else I need to do. So it's kind of one of those things, just like the t-shirt thing. I haven't got any t-shirts made because I don't have the extra funds right now to get t-shirts made, because me selling snakes or me giving away the snakes and doing the Patreon thing mostly covers rats. And then like I've done a lot of trades over this last year. A lot of snakes I've been bringing in have been from trades and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions whatsoever, if there's anything you want to see, let me know. The typical reason people say that they are exiting the Patreon thing and not supporting me anymore is because their financial situations changed, or whatever. Not saying that it's not true, but I mean, I guess if I was donating $2 a month to somebody, then I don't know how my financial situation changed that much that $2 is really affecting it. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to like diss on anybody or anything, or like trying to like make it people feel bad or anything like that. If you don't like my content, I would rather you tell me why you don't like my content so I can fix it. I don't do Patreon at all for me, really. I mean, like the content on Patreon is not for me at all, because I don't go on my Patreon and see what kind of content I'm putting on there on a constant basis. This is all for you. The funds that I'm bringing in from Patreon is supposed to help me do other stuff, and I'm trying to get this whole podcast thing taken care of. Now, the podcast, it's going to be on my YouTube channel, and it's also going to be we're going to try to get it on an actual podcast format, so you can like download up on the podcast thing like iTunes or whatever. The YouTube part of it is like, let's say he interviews Ozzy Boyds, let's say, or Justin Kabelka. We're gonna try getting pictures and stuff from them, so that way when you're watching, if you have the video on your phone or your TV or your computer or whatever, you can see pictures from those breeders, so you can see all the really, like if Justin Kabelka is talking about red stripe clown stuff or whatever, when he's talking about that in the interview, we're showing pictures on the actual thing about, or maybe he's letting us use some video footage or something like that, so we can kind of show stuff while he's talking about it and getting interviewed about it and stuff like that. And also it gives us a chance to put on like things like, website information, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook information, stuff like that. One thing I know I do, I'll put on a YouTube, like right now currently like State 48 Exotics and Rude Dog Reptiles and a few other people on YouTube are doing interviews with people. It's like I don't really need to see the interviews or to see the things happening, but I'll put it on like my Bluetooth speaker, and then I'll be in the snake room cleaning and I'm listening to the interview, even though it's on YouTube. So that's kind of one of the things I want to get on YouTube for sure. It's going to be 100% funded by Easy Fit Reptiles, by me. So like I said, I need to pay the guy in order for him to keep doing the interviews and stuff. Right now we're just trying to get everything in motion, get some sponsorship stuff taken care of as well. Then that will kind of help out, so that way it won't be 100% dependent on Patreon, if we can figure out some sponsorship stuff as well. Is it possible for me to post updates of my collection as far as Patreon content? Yeah. So one thing I realized when I just did an interview with Rude Dog Reptiles on his little thing that he does with the Hangouts thing. So if you haven't seen that, by the way, check it out on Rude Dog Reptiles YouTube channel. But one of the guys on there, I think it was JH Pythons, he did a lot of, he said that a lot of his stuff is from Instagram. Like he posts pictures and stuff on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, more so than YouTube. And I was like, man, I really am slacking on Instagram. So right now, like over the last like 3 or 4 days or whatever, I've been putting up a decent amount of content on Instagram. So I want to do a big collection update video, but I have a couple more snakes coming in that I want to wait to do that until after all that stuff comes in, because we're getting kind of some heavy hitters as far as future projects and stuff go, are actually pretty immediate projects because a couple of them are proven breeder females. Um, so I want to do a collection like update like video. Um, but I guess do you so Brianna, do you mean like and with that question, is it possible for me to post updates of the collection as far as the Patreon content? Do you mean just like kind of like an updated like a picture here and there, like maybe every couple days do like a picture of one of my snakes from my collection? Is that kind of what you're saying? I think that's what I'm grasping from that, but I just want to see if that's what you mean by that. Okay, yep. So yeah, that's something I could definitely do. Like I said, I've been doing the Instagram, putting the stuff on Instagram, but I can definitely put it here as well because I know some people might not, follow me on Instagram, or maybe they don't have, um, or maybe they don't see the updates or stuff like that. Um, yeah, maybe I could do some stuff too. That maybe I do a couple of them that are, um, yeah, instead of all at once, give more content. Yeah, and one thing I want to do is, and this is just for YouTube in general, but that the other part of it is that my content's really lacking on YouTube, like really bad. So basically on YouTube, I think the last thing I posted was like a month ago. I just I need more time to do a good YouTube video. I can do YouTube videos and put stuff out there for you guys, but it's like I was looking at the last how many videos, and I have like 7,500 subscribers on YouTube or 7,600 subscribers on YouTube. My last video a month ago only got like 500 views. So it's like, well, obviously I'm not even putting the stuff on there that's even grabbing people's interest. So I need to grasp stuff with that as well. One thing I stopped doing on YouTube is I stopped talking about Patreon on YouTube because I was getting a lot of flack from people saying, well, all you're trying to do is sell us your Patreon thing, trying to get us to support you on Patreon and stuff, and it's getting to be like where it's all you want to do is talk about Patreon and stuff like that. So I really backed away from that on the last few videos to the point where I'm not even talking about it. But I think part of it is I need to like at least mention it at least once maybe once a month, mention, hey, we're doing this kind of a giveaway. Um, you know, join, help support, whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Um, Olympus Reptiles is bringing in like $3,500 a month on his Patreon, and some of the stuff that he's doing is like he won't sell anything to anybody outside of Patreon. So if you want to buy any of his animals, you have to be a Patreon supporter. He's got, I don't know, some of the other stuff that he's got in there. It's like, I don't know. I don't think he's giving away anything, like giving away snakes or anything like that. But um, obviously, he puts out a lot more content than I do. Probably a little more interesting than I am, I guess, too. But I was like, crap. By the way, I just got off of work, so sorry. I have to take a shower yet. But um, yeah, I don't know how you, if I was getting that kind of money on Patreon, you guys would be getting a lot better stuff than like something Desert Ghost or whatever. You know what I mean? I gotta base that kind of stuff off of whatever you guys whatever the total amount I'm getting from Patreon. Like if I was getting $3,500 per thing, I'd be doing a lot more. First of all, boy, my wife would be a little bit more backing off of my getting off my case about stuff, and probably wouldn't mind me going down and doing this more often and stuff instead of being like, well, this is stupid you're even doing that kind of stuff if you're not even making money on it and you're spending time doing it and all that stuff. But um, but yeah, gosh, I'd probably be giving away a lot more stuff because even if I didn't have something, I can go. Garrick DeMeyer lives 8 miles away from me. I can go and drop $1,000 on one of his snakes and give it to you guys for you know. So even if I didn't have snakes to give away, but I'm not gonna go and get $100 snake from Garrick because it's gonna be like a bumblebee or something like that, where it's like, okay, does anybody really want a bumblebee given to them for free? I mean, I guess if it's free, yeah, but I don't know. I, I want to give you guys as much as I can, but I can't with with what I'm working with right now, as far as funds go and stuff like that. Obviously, some of the funds would be used for stuff here, like getting rats, or upgrading some of my stuff, or eventually using some of it like for other snakes and projects and stuff like that. But a good chunk of it would be, I want to get used for you guys. Once I make a decent amount of money on it or whatever, I'd like to buy shirts and give people shirts that deserve shirts, that have been supporters for a long time, or the ones that are in that range, or like $20 and up. Anybody who's pledging $20 and up gets a free T-shirt. I don't have anybody pledging $20 or up anymore. So, but a few of the things I want to do now is I would like to get um, with this whole podcast thing. We might be doing like a sponsorship um, level, like where you do like one or two sponsorship spots. Not sure how much that would end up being, maybe $50 or $100 or something like that. But then you basically would get an advertisement spot on the podcast. So that way, whether it's on like an iTunes thing to download the podcast or stream it or whatever, or if you're watching or listening to it on YouTube, your advertisement for you or your business or your channel or whatever would be on there as a sponsor for the podcast. And again, I'll reveal what podcast it is at a later date and who's doing the podcast stuff, because he's gonna be doing all the interviewing and stuff like that. But it's somebody who's been doing it. He's known throughout the whole industry. I wouldn't say he's like a huge name, but he's somebody that all the big people know. His podcast was, very well received when it was on before. So, and it's family friendly. So, if you're thinking about a certain person that doesn't do it anymore, that's not family friendly, this guy is family friendly. So you can do it with your kids and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. I'm just trying to grasp everything here as far as that goes. I really want to make it work with everything. Regardless of what happens on Patreon, we're going to move forward with the whole podcast thing. So even if I lost everybody and didn't have any Patreon funds coming in, I'm still going to do the podcast thing. It's just that it's going to be pretty much completely funded by sponsorship stuff, or me pulling money out of my pocket to give to him instead of it coming through the Patreon thing. But one other thing that I might possibly do is do like an incentive program for all my Patreon people. So if you bring Patreon people in, then you can get like credit or something like that every time you bring somebody in. So maybe you can, maybe if I gave like $20 credit for every person you bring in, and then after that person has pledged like 2 successful pledges or something like that, you get, your $20 credit. If you bring in like 5 people, you get $100 credit. If you bring in 10 people, you get $200 credit. Stuff like that. So that's something I'm kind of contemplating and trying to see how that would work and I need something that's easy to keep track of. If you guys remember, at one point we were doing this whole Hissy Fit rewards thing. Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare to keeping track of it. And then I got a whole bunch of people come in, and then they all left, and I don't know. I couldn't keep track of it. In order to do something that was tracking it, I had to pay like $500 a month for a tracking service to track all this stuff for a reward program. And I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time to do all that stuff. So, and to buy the program, I wasn't even making $500 a month on Patreon. So why am I going to spend that much money on something where I'm only bringing in like $150 or $200 a month? So I could lose $300 a month doing it. So, everything that I've planned on the whole Patreon thing is pretty much just like fell apart in my face. It's like right in front of me. Everything's just kind of falling apart. I like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to give away a rack, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to give away all these snakes. And I have 23 snakes I was going to give away at one point in time, and all that stuff. And it didn't matter. Nobody, like, I got a handful of people that came in and did it. And then I had a whole bunch of people tell me that I was, trying to throw a pity party for people to just, throw money at me. And, oh, well, why don't I just do it too? I want money for something. I'll just say that I'm going to do this too. Thing is if I would have got all the funding and stuff, I would have given a rack away, because I would have bought a rack from Freedom Breeder or ARS or whoever, and that person would have won a rack. I would have had it shipped directly to their house, all that kind of different stuff. But it's like, if I'm not getting that, I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't, as long as and then with my funds, it's going down and lower and lower and lower. I'm not forcing anybody to stay or pledge to me and stuff like that. But you just gotta know that if I don't have the funds, what we're able to do on Patreon is gonna be a lot less, and probably a lot less fun too. Um, it's gonna be probably be to the point where I have to do an every other month giveaway, as compared to an every month giveaway, just to justify the cost. Um, even this last one, even though I'm only getting like $150, or now it'll be less because this month there's less people. I'm like probably like 130 or something like that. If if the person picked a snake, the snake that they picked was like a $375 snake. Another option was $250 credit. Okay, so I'm losing. I was losing something on it, no matter what. So, um, and it's fine because that was the option I gave and stuff like that. But it's just getting, and then I paid shipping and stuff. I think the other thing is too, as long as it's below a certain amount, I think it's gonna have to be where the winners have to pay shipping eventually, going forward, starting on the next one. Anybody who already won and stuff, and um, the person who won the last contest, that's gonna get shipped for free because that was part of the whole thing. But going forward, with as little as I'm making, I'm gonna have to have the winners have to pay shipping if they want to have it shipped. Um, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks for me. It sucks for me to have to say that and tell you guys this kind of stuff. But I can only do I can only work with what I'm given, kind of. Um, I just I don't know. I got stuff to take care of. I got stuff to do. As far as content, Brandolin mentioned to put more. Just put a bunch of like collection update stuff on there. Maybe I'll put like a little video, like a 25-30 second video of kind of like what Justin does for his teases and stuff on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Maybe I'll do that with some of my stuff. Just kind of do an animal at a time. Just kind of record it, throw it on there. It shouldn't take up too much time. Otherwise, I can put pictures and stuff on there. A little background about what I'm planning on doing with it, stuff like that. So that'll be some content where maybe I give you guys a little bit more in-depth stuff with what I'm working on, what I'm working with. Um, Next season, I have a huge season coming up. And if you guys stick with me, and later on this season, I should have some really cool stuff. Right now, I have the stuff I have that's hatched out isn't like groundbreaking or anything, but potential is really cool. I just got to figure out what I'm going to give away and what I'm going to keep and sell and all that kind of stuff. Um, so some of the stuff I got coming up, those are going to be really, really cool. So, depending on where we're at, Patreon fund wise and stuff like that, you might be able to give some of the stuff, given away. Um, Maybe I make another thing because Patreon won't allow me to do it. Maybe I make a different thing somewhere else and say, here, follow this link. Once you're on this link, you can enter. Then just do the comment thing from that point. I don't know. Whenever I say to let me know what you guys want to see or what you don't want to see, or if I'm doing something that you think should be better and all that kind of stuff, I get like 2 or 3 people that tell me do this, and then nobody else responds. Nobody else tells me. So if I don't know, I can't make it better. So, but I suppose I gotta get my kids up and get them ready, take them to my in-laws, come home, sleep, wake up, go give plasma, take care of stuff around the house, and then go to work again. So fun. So hopefully I'll have some time to do some stuff. I'd like to get a video uploaded for YouTube. I'm not sure if I'll be able to or not. All depends on my time. So my time is very, very limited. So let me know if you guys want to see anything or not see anything, or whatever. Suggestions are great. If you're gonna stop supporting me on Patreon, that's fine, but just let me know why. Please don't just put that your financial situation changed if you're pledging $2 a month, because I mean, $2, that makes or breaks the bank, then probably bad idea for for you to join in the first place, I guess, right? I don't know. Um, I'm assuming that if somebody's pledging $2 and then they stop pledging, then there's something wrong with my channel. I kind of have a hard time thinking that it's because their financial situation's changed. Um, so please let me know why if you think my videos suck, if you think my content sucks or whatever, you know, I'm, you know, just trying to figure out how I can make it better for everybody who still is pledging and all that kind of stuff. Um, just do what you can when you can. Thanks, DJ Skull Ball Pythons. It says just do what you can when you can, um, which is great for me, but not so great for you guys. I'd like to maximize you guys's, you know, whether you're paying $2 a month or 5 or 10 or $15 a month or whatever the amounts are you're paying. I want to make it, worth you guys a while. Um, on YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that, when people aren't paying, I want to make it worth their while. I don't want it to be where they just go on my video and it's like, well, this video is kind of boring, I'm gonna jump off of it. So just trying to make everything better for you guys. Like I mentioned, I'll try to figure out something on an incentive thing. I might do another live stream in the morning tomorrow morning. Kind of think about some stuff and find out what would be something I can do to increase this so I can give you guys better prizes, better rewards, more rewards more often, more content, stuff like that. So I don't know everything I was gonna say, but I forgot what it was now. Anyways, yes, this is the other thing. Sorry. So kind of like the final thing of this whole rant too. One thing that's been happening is people have been, and this isn't obviously everybody, because if you're still watching this and you won something, then you obviously this doesn't pertain to you. However, over the past few months, and definitely over the past year, it's funny because I'll have somebody who was like pledging $2 or $5 a month, and they'll win a snake, and then like a month or two later, they cancel their pledge. Like they're done. It's like, wow, that's kind of a slap in the face. You just won like one of the people won a $650 snake from me. Basically, I gave away a $650 snake was one of the prizes at that point in time. This was like 6 months ago or whatever it was. And I don't know, I think the person dropped out like within a couple months of winning that snake. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, really? Wow. It kind of makes me not want to do this stuff when that kind of stuff's happening. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It kind of bugged me a little bit. So you're doing good. Just little pictures every now and then. That would be okay. Okay. So yeah. I mean, I don't think that person didn't even put in, I think, not even $30 worth of Patreon funds over their time of being a Patreon supporter. And yeah, they were gone. And it wasn't the first time that it happened. It's just that was the biggest win that somebody had with the least amount of Patreon funds in the lifetime. Because like I can go on the thing and it tells me how much every single person pledged over the lifetime of their being a Patreon member for me and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. All right, with that being said, I'm gonna sign off here. But this year in general, I wanted to kind of make it a big year, doing giveaways on Patreon as well as on YouTube and Instagram, maybe even Facebook, because this year is my 10th anniversary of being in this hobby. In 2009, I got my first ball python. It was a bumblebee ball python. I know some of you guys saw it on the post. But yeah, well, I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to try to figure out the next contest. And then also, once I get more stuff figured out on the podcast thing, I'll let you guys know about the podcast. Again, I have to talk to the guy who's actually been doing it, because he's he's asked that I don't talk about it right now. When we announce it, it's going to be a little snippets of like teasers and stuff like that. So it's going to be kind of cool leading up to the first podcast. He's got somebody in mind who's going to be interviewing. He told me to get some names together. If there's somebody you guys would like to hear on a podcast in the future too, just let me know who you'd like to hear from, or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Take care, and let me know your guys' opinions on things. Thanks a lot.